The first thing the little girl did after being reborn was to steal her grandmother's secretly stashed $5 million savings. She took her mother and bought a remote, abandoned piece of land, only because she clearly knew that on the upcoming lunar New Year's Eve, her father would bring his mistress home and force her mother to leave with nothing. Her mother would work odd jobs everywhere to support her until she died of overwork. After that, she would live with her father and stepmother. Not only would she go hungry and be poorly clothed, in the end, she would die at their hands. Perhaps because heaven pitied the little girl too much, it allowed her to be reborn a few days before her father brought his mistress home. In order to prevent the tragedy of her previous life from happening again, the little girl told her mother about what would happen in the future. The woman listened with a puzzled expression. She didn't understand how her daughter knew these things. When she learned that her daughter was a reborn soul, the woman simply did not believe it. Then the little girl brought her mother to her grandmother's room. Using a hairpin, she pried open the safe her grandmother had treasured for years. Afterward, the little girl took her mother to the real estate company and bought the abandoned land for $5 million. She knew clearly that before long, this plot of land would skyrocket in value tenfold. The day before lunar New Year's Eve, her mother-in-law asked the woman if she had prepared tomorrow's New Year's Eve dinner to test her mother-in-law. The woman tearfully complained that her husband had been on a business trip for several days and had not returned. She worried he had taken a mistress. Therefore, she was in no mood to prepare the New Year's Eve dinner. After hearing this, her mother-in-law advised her not to overthink things, then told her to hurry up and prepare the New Year's Eve dinner. The woman had intended to ask her mother-in-law for help, but her mother-in-law, citing back pain, went back to her room to rest. The woman saw clearly that her mother-in-law was obviously pretending to be ill, but she felt it was not yet time to expose the truth. So she asked her mother-in-law for money to purchase Lunar New Year supplies. Her mother-in-law took out $200 and handed it to her. She said this money was saved from picking up scrap, telling her to use it to buy some holiday goods. After speaking, her mother-in-law held her back and returned to her room. At this moment, the woman finally believed what her daughter had said. It turned out that her whole family had only treated her as a free maid. On Lunar New Year's Eve itself, the woman, claiming illness, wanted to order a $200 dinner from outside. Her mother-in-law said that outside food was unsanitary, telling the woman to cook the New Year's Eve dinner herself first. The woman refused. She questioned her mother-in-law why she did not ask her sister-in-law to cook. Her mother-in-law explained that her sister-in-law had a good job and a high salary. Moreover, her sister-in-law had given birth to a son with her first child. The woman had been married for many years but had only given birth to one daughter. Every day she only knew how to cook, wash clothes, and clean the house. Hearing this, the woman realized that her mother-in-law had never treated her as family. Her sister-in-law slammed the table and stood up, telling the woman to recognize her place and hurry up to cook. The woman, unhurried, walked over to her sister-in-law. Without saying a word, she flipped the dining table. At that moment, her husband returned with his mistress and illegitimate child. Before the woman could ask what was happening, her husband proposed a divorce. He stated that he had been with his mistress for 6 years. The reason he had not thrown his wife out was because she was still somewhat diligent and could serve as a maid at home. Now that their illegitimate child had grown up, he planned to have his wife and daughter move out and let them live at home.